Hello and welcome to True Pathfinder, your portal to health and truth. And in this video we are going to talk about a very important subject, namely the incredible, scientifically proven power of your mind to heal you or indeed make you sick. So, let's explore the evidence and look at some practical tips to help your mind activate your self-healing powers. And we're going to start by looking at the truly unbelievable feats of Wim Hof, who is also known as the Iceman, and you're gonna see why in a minute. Who is Wim Hof? He has often been called a real-life superhero because he holds 26 official Guinness World Records for feats that were believed to be impossible for human beings. For example, he ran a half marathon above the Arctic Circle barefoot. He remained submerged entirely in ice for nearly 2 hours. He climbed big part of Mount Everest just in shorts, and he swam underneath the ice of a frozen ocean for the length of a football field in just one breath. And his method is truly astonishing because all he does to achieve these incredible performances is breathing exercises, cold exposure training and meditation. And what makes Wim Hof special, in my opinion, is that he lets scientists analyze his body while he's performing these feats, and he participates in a lot of research and studies, scientific research, so that we can better understand what is going on in his body. For example, he took part in an endotoxin study where bits of that bacteria, known as endotoxins, are injected into the bloodstream. Normally, when this happens, the immune system flares up because it feels that it is under attack, and as a result, you will feel sick. When I did this to Wim Hof, however, he was able to dampen the immune response by flooding the blood with adrenaline and triggering the release of the critical messaging protein interleukin-10. And this was believed to be impossible because the immune response is controlled by your autonomous nervous system. So it was believed that you cannot control it. Still, Wim Hof proved that you can indeed control your immune response. And many said, well, he's just an outlier, he's out of the ordinary, he's a genetic freak. So, does he have different genetics, and can other people perform the same feats? Well, to find the answer to this question, the researchers did another experiment with 30 volunteers, 18 of which were trained by Wim Hof for 4 days, and the other 12 were in the control group. And the researchers tested many parameters, including blood composition, cytokines, catecholamines, white blood cell count. They looked at the physiological changes like heart rate, temperature, and many other important parameters. And the result was that the control group showed a normal response to the endotoxemia, while on the other hand the Wim Hof group was also able to successfully dampen the immune response, just like Wim Hof himself. The Hof group had more adrenaline from the start of the experiment and increased interleukin-10 cytokine, which is the cell messaging protein that inhibits the release of other cytokines that contribute to inflammation. They also had less acute symptoms and showed a much faster recovery. They had higher levels of interleukin-6, 8 and TNF-alpha. And even though the inflammatory response was suppressed, the white blood cell count was not. The conclusion of this is that the immune system was still working in the background despite the dampened inflammation response. He took part also in another very interesting study by the Wayne State University School of Medicine in Michigan. Normally our human body reacts unconsciously to cold to preserve heat and help us survive in the extreme conditions such as cold through vasoconstriction. And also the release of certain hormones such as cortisol and norepinephrine, and through physical reactions such as shivering and a change in breathing patterns. The researchers at the Wayne State Medical School developed a special cold suit with which they could precisely control the temperature and also measure the reactions to cold. Over 25 minutes, the skin temperature was measured as the temperature in this special cold suit went from neutral to cold and to neutral again. And as expected, in people without the Wim Hof training, the temperature was falling as the subjects were exposed to the colder temperatures. Hof himself showed not the same results. Without his breathing technique, the results were the same, but after he did his breathing exercises and his meditation exercises, his skin temperature remained stable at 34 degrees Celsius or 93 degrees Fahrenheit. The PET scan that was also performed revealed that his intercostal muscles consumed glucose and poured heat into the body. The fMRI scan showed a regression of normal reaction to cold, a skin temperature increase, and his body spending more energy. Also, they looked at his brain and they were able to observe that the brain region called the insula, which is responsible for self-awareness, the body and emotions, showed a lowering of activity in the control group, which signals the onset of hypothermia. But in Wim Hof, they saw a completely different reactions, more extreme reactions to temperature changes, so higher peaks and lower lows. Cold also causes, of course, stress and engages the sympathetic nervous system to release cortisol and norepinephrine to prepare the body for survival. But Hof's sympathetic nervous system was hardly engaged as his body was physiologically primed through the release of adrenaline. Another interesting area of the brain, the paraqueductal gray area, which is a brainstem area that is used for perception, modulation and killing of pain, also exploded with activity in Wim Hof. As activity in the insular area started dipping, training in the P gray area started spiking. And this spike would trigger the release of opioids and endocannabinoids. This means that Wim Hof was actually feeling an experience that is very similar to the high you feel with exercise, for example. And this, of course, contributes to a deep sense of well-being. The control group showed no sign of activation in this brain area. The part hormone control loop autoregulates Wim Hof's body during the cooling process. And everybody can have the same results as Wim Hof, as he himself is postulating, and it has been shown in studies that it is indeed possible. You just have to get out of your comfort zone and do the cold exercises, so a cold shower in the morning, for example. And this is because of the activation on a physical level, at least, because of the part hormone and the activated vitamin D and adrenaline release, which we have discussed in depth in a previous video that I'm going to link down below, of course. But if you look at his method, you notice that it is mainly based on creating a different response to cold and stress by mind training, breathing exercises and meditation. And this brings us neatly onto the power of your mind and brain over your body. Before we look at the very interesting research that has been performed in the last decades on the power of your mind for healing yourself and also making yourself sick, short reminder, if you enjoy our content, please support us directly by becoming a Patreon from as little as $5 per month. Link is in the description box below, of course. Also, do not forget to like, share, subscribe if you're not already, and comment to help this channel grow and spread the truth. For the holistic care you need and deserve, please do not hesitate to contact us at christine.doctor and check out some of the most powerful holistic health tools available on the market today at vibrantbody.net. Links are also in the description box below for you, of course. So, for decades, the belief that your mind and thoughts could play a role in healing physical ailments was considered quackery and completely dismissed by modern medicine. Yet, a growing body of research is beginning to show what many of us in the holistic world have always held to be true, namely that our thoughts and beliefs have a vast influence over our health and well-being. The power of the mind to heal has been studied in connection with everything from the placebo effect to spontaneous remission. It has also been shown to play a very important role in the onset of illness and disease, as well as its prevention. Turns out our brain is not fixed. It's actually a supple, malleable organ, as ready to unlearn as it is to learn, capable of transforming vicious circles into virtuous circles, capable of resetting and repairing its internal communications, far more actually than was once dreamed possible. The brain can, if not always cure, at least heal itself and your body. And the brain's remarkable ability to recalibrate itself is what doctors call nowadays neuroplasticity. Research has firmly established nowadays that the brain is a dynamic organ and can change its design throughout life, no matter your age, responding to experience by reorganizing connections via so-called wiring and rewiring. Scientists sometimes refer to the process of neuroplasticity, therefore as structural remodeling of the brain. In the last 20 or so years, a lot of research and development has gone into understanding when and how mind healing works. And what appears to be clearly understood today is that the mind healing powers lie in the subconscious. The subconscious aims to create coherence or agreement between what it believes and reality. It accepts what it believes as truth and manifests according to those beliefs. As the placebo effect and its counterpart, the nocebo effect, show us, beliefs can heal you or make you sick. And this happens repeatedly in clinical trials, much to the bane of drug company researchers. Your mind is actually so powerful, it can even change your DNA. And this is known as epigenetics. The science of epigenetics helps explain how you heal your body with your mind. Unless a gene has a programmed defect, such as hemophilia, it is the cell's environment that primarily affects how a gene expresses itself, and the quality of this environment is determined by nutrients, hormones, brain chemicals, toxins, and to a very large extent, your perceptions and beliefs. And this makes sense when you consider that your thoughts and emotions influence the brain to release chemicals. The powerful subconscious parts of your brain order cells to create disease, repair damage, or heal. And as long as the materials and functions for creating and maintaining healthy cells are available, it can instantly provide what the cells need to carry out those orders. We are often surprised to witness a spontaneous healing of the body or the mind in ourselves or others. The truth is that this miracle of healing and damage control goes on inside our bodies continuously. We produce, for example, every day cancer cells. But normally, as long as our terrain is in order and our mind is part of our terrain, our body deals with those cancerous cells, no problem. Because this process is unconscious, we take no notice of it until something goes awry. A growing body of research is showing that people's mindsets can measurably affect physical healing and overall health. And you see one of the headlines from Stanford Medicine here on the right: patient mindset matters in healing and deserves more study, experts say. Stress is a great example of how mindsets can be self-fulfilling. Stressful situations are unavoidable in life, and yet research has found that most people perceive stress as negative, even debilitating. Media or public education campaigns warn us constantly about the harmful effects of stress. We have, however, ample evidence that suggests that stress can enhance how our minds and bodies function. It's all about how a person thinks about stress that can determine its effects. Psychologist Dr. Elia Crumb's research reveals that in one study where they told participants, which were employees in a financial company that was downsizing, that stress can help rather than hurt them, the employees reported fewer symptoms of depression and anxiety, high levels of optimism, and improved work performance versus the control group. In another study, she showed that adopting a stress is enhancing mindset leads to optimal physiological stress responses marked by moderate levels of cortisol and high levels of the growth hormone DHEA. Another area in which mindsets matter is exercise. In 2007, Al Langer, together with Dr. Crum, studied hotel room attendants whose work involves strenuous physical activity. 2/3 of the study participants had a mindset that they were not exercising enough and that their physical labor that they were performing daily and their job was just work and not good exercise. Once the researchers pointed out to them that pushing heavy carts, vacuuming, and lifting heavy mattresses does indeed qualify as sufficient exercise, they showed improvements in weight, blood pressure, and body fat over the course of just 4 weeks. In the control group, there were no changes. More recently, graduate student Octavia Azad, together with Dr. Crum, found that people who perceived themselves as less active than others had up to a 72% higher mortality risk, 20 years later than those who perceive themselves as more active, controlling for actual levels of physical activity. Another great example of the power of your mind or brain to heal you or make you sick is the placebo slash nocebo effect, which you probably all have heard of, right? Well, just in case you haven't, a placebo is anything that seems to be a real medical treatment, but in fact isn't. This could include a pill, a shot, or some other form of fake treatment. What all placebos have in common is that they do not contain an active substance known to affect health. Placebos are regularly used during scientific studies to have a baseline to measure the effects that a new drug, medicine, or procedure might have on a particular condition. And the medical community has long been mystified by this placebo effect. But it turns out that a placebo effect isn't some mysterious response to a sugar pill. It is the robust and measurable effect of three components: the body's natural ability to heal itself, the patient's mindset, and the social context. When we start to see the placebo effect for what it really is, we can stop discounting it as medically superfluous and can work to deliberately harness its underlying components to improve healthcare, according to Dr. Crum. Over the past 30 years, neurobiological research has shown that the placebo effect, which stems in part from an individual's mindset or expectation to heal, triggers distinct brain areas that are associated with anxiety and pain that activate physiological effects that lead to healing outcomes. They found out, for example, in antidepressant studies that the placebos can have up to 75% improvements in the condition of the patients, namely the depression. That means that up to 75% of the study participants who take a placebo pill that contains nothing but sugar have significant improvements in their symptoms. And it's not just antidepressant trials that have shown this. A study done on a procedure to treat Parkinson's disease also showed a 30% improvement in motor symptoms for those who received a placebo treatment over an 18-month period. These people in the study showed an increase in dopamine production, which is the neurotransmitter that is depleted in Parkinson's disease. And that means that their bodies started to make more dopamine as a result of a fake procedure. So it's not just a case of the placebo making you feel better, so you think your symptoms are better. The placebo's effect can actually alter your body's production of its own natural pharmacy, as in the case of the Parkinson's disease procedure placebo. And this means that cultivating the power of the mind could actually cause physiological changes, and does cause physiological changes, as the studies have found out, in your body. And mindsets can also lead to negative or nocebo effects. For example, patients have been shown to have a heightened pain response after they have been informed that an injection will hurt. Those who were told about possible negative side effects of a medication had an increased presence of those effects. Just like we can have a positive result from being told we are taking a pill or having a procedure to cure a condition, we can also have a negative result from being told that something might cause side effects or even harm us, even if it's a fake treatment or pill. Where we see this nocebo effect really come into play is when a doctor or specialist who is of course in a powerful position, gives us bad news about a diagnosis or warns us about side effects of a treatment. Many strange and extreme medical events have been attributed to the noceboeffect, including death. One reported case from the 1970s concerned a cancer patient who was told he had just 3 months to live, only for it to be discovered in his autopsy that he had no cancer at all. It was misdiagnosed. Cancer could therefore not have been the cause of his death, which coincidentally was 3 months after his doctor gave him that prognosis. Another case, a more recent one, documented a man who overdosed on 29 capsules he was taking in a clinical trial. He was admitted to the hospital with severe hypotension, only to be told those were not real pills that he was taking. They were placebos, not real medications. And still, he had severe hypotension, so a physical response, because he believed that he had overdosed on real pills. So, the state of your mind about your health condition and diagnosis, as well as any restrictions and outcomes your physician may have placed on you about your health condition, absolutely has the ability to shape your condition and your health outcomes. In Dr. Kelly Turner's research on spontaneous remissions, he found that only 2 out of 6 factors that contributed to spontaneous remissions were physical, namely a change in diet and lifestyle and taking the right supplements. The remaining 4 out of 6 were all brain-related. Your amygdala in the limbic brain, also known as the lizard brain, has as its primary job to keep you on alert for danger. It can create a sympathetic stress response that sets off a harmful hormonal cascade, so the production of adrenaline, cortisol, and epinephrine amongst other hormones. Or it can create a parasympathetic relaxation response where the stress hormones go away and the body releases healing hormones such as oxytocin, dopamine, nitric oxide, endorphins, etc., etc. Your body has a beautiful, powerful self-repair mechanism built into it. There is a problem though, and that is that these healing mechanisms can only operate when you are in a relaxation state. On average, we have about 50 stress responses per day. People who hate their job or their relationship have 100 stress responses or even more. And during stress, our self-healing capacity is completely disabled. So, in order to let your body heal itself, you must calm down the amygdala. Positive beliefs, nurturing care by a trusted practitioner, good family and friends, and indeed placebos can achieve that. Everything you can do to feel safe, cared for, positive, so everything you can do to reduce the stress response of your amygdala will help. Meditation, surrounding yourself with people you care about, practicing hobbies you love, laughing, having good sex, playing with your pet that you love, practicing generosity. All this can help your brain relax and let the body heal itself. A big part of being healthy is having a healthy lifestyle, not only when it comes to diet, exercise and supplements, but also when it comes to healthy relationships, healthy professional lives, fulfilling sex lives, spiritual and creative lives, a healthy relationship to money, healthy environments, healthy communities, a rich social life, etc., etc. It is also very important to have the right perspective on your illness or any type of stressful situation in your life. Do you see the situation as a challenge that can be overcome, or do you perceive it as a threat? Research has shown that if you see it as a challenge, your blood vessels dilate, your heart works efficiently, your performance is optimized, you recover quickly, and your long-term health improves. If you perceive it as a threat, on the other hand, your blood vessels constrict, the strain on your heart is increased, your performance is impaired, you have a slow recovery, and you will sustain damages to your long-term health. You can change your mindset and relax your mind so that it can help heal you using many different techniques, such as visualization techniques, where you imagine a nice place where you feel well. For example, close your eyes, you imagine yourself being at the beach or wherever you feel really relaxed and nice. You can practice mindfulness meditation. Research has shown that it changes the physical structure of the brain, so it rewires the neurons. You should also connect with others and foster valuable social connections. It has also been shown that people who have warm relationships, rich social lives, and feel embedded in a group are overall healthier and live longer. You can also practice compassion training and breathing exercises, amongst other things. Let's finish this off by talking also about beliefs and expectations. Even when you take an actual drug, studies have shown that 1/3 to 2/3 of its effects stem from your beliefs in that drug and your expectations from that drug. It has been shown that surgery, for example, works better than injections, which work better than pills. Larger pills work better than small ones. Brand name pills work better than generic pills. It's all about how much meaning and expectations you put in a certain treatment. So start your healing journey by shifting your beliefs. Believe it is possible to heal yourself. Have no fear. Realize that you are in charge. You are the gatekeeper to your mind or brain. You must analyze your stress responses and realize where they come from and when they appear and minimize them. It's also crucial to find the right support or healer. A doctor can be himself or herself a placebo or a nocebo. A caring, nurturing healer is extremely important. And the process of rewiring your brain, changing your beliefs and expectations, all of this can take time. Rome was not built in a day, as they say, so be patient and persevere. Now, do I want to say with all of that your mind can heal every type of disease and you don't need any type of medication, supplements, lifestyle changes, etc.? Definitely not. But, as you have seen, your mind is a very powerful component of healing, which is unfortunately very often criminally overlooked by health professionals, despite the overwhelming scientific evidence for its importance that we have explored in this presentation. And that is why we here at Christine.Doctor always look holistically at your healing journey and never neglect this part of it. Contact us at Christine.Doctor. Link is in the description box below as mentioned, and we will take care of you. Also, have a look at some of the most powerful holistic health tools available on the market today at vibrantbody.net. If you've enjoyed this presentation, please support us directly by becoming a patron from as little as $5 per month. And do not forget to like, share, subscribe if you're not already, and comment to help this channel grow and spread the truth. Thank you very much for your attention, and until next time, stay healthy.